The right care, right at home. Australia's premier in-home care provider. Local legends want it. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls clubs near me.
From the wide outdoors to the great indoors, this is Without Bias.
You're listening to Without Bias right here on 1116 SEN, your home of sport. Val Febbo here with you for Bowls Australia. A Bowls Green is right around the corner. Head to Bowling Greens near me on Google. It was an amazing Australian Open over the last fortnight. We've been recording on location for the last 2 weeks, but we're back to our regular spot in Melbourne, back in the cold and away from the weather. But what we do have are the memories from what was an amazing tournament up on the GC. And Jack McShane, he's going to join us a little later on to chat about his men's pairs victory as well as his run to the men's fours final. But the first player that I've got on, well, it would be rude not to get him on. A 6-time Australian Open singles winner. It seems astronomical to think about, but he's achieved it. It was an amazing win over Cohen Litvin in the final on Friday afternoon. His name is Aron Sherriff. Omar, thank you for joining me.
No worries, Val. Thanks for having us, mate.
Congrats on what is an unbelievable achievement. 6 Australian Open men's singles titles. Has the enormity of it all sunk in?
Yeah, I guess so. I suppose it's been a pretty whirlwind sort of couple of weeks. Obviously, we have our big events leading into the AO, and then naturally the massive 2 weeks that is the Australian Open. So I suppose just getting over that at this stage. But I suppose every time I go into the kitchen and see that trophy, it puts a smile on my face and probably sinks in a little bit every day.
And the confidence going into the final against Cohen, obviously you'd been in the one, I think you've been in the ones 2 years before, and you haven't lost a game in over 1,097 days or whatever it is at the Australian Open in singles play. How was the confidence going in?
Look, I mean, when it comes to singles, for me, it's all about me. Obviously, I knew, and I had said at the start of the match that Cohen was a very dangerous opponent. He's a great kid. He's relaxed. He's probably in the form of his life at the moment. So I knew it was going to be a tough one. But I suppose the one thing that I've been able to take into the last 3 finals at the Australian Open is the fact that I've been there before, and I've experienced it, the big crowd, the live TV, and all that sort of thing. So that gives me a little confidence going in, and knowing that if I can, perform somewhere where near my best, then I'll sort of back myself in against any opponent. So, yeah, a little bit, I suppose, anxious to get out there and get into it, but, was reasonably confident that I could get the job done.
When you did get into it, you were playing really, really well, but he kept up with you. What was the key for you to stay on top of him and just maintain that little buffer throughout the match? Yeah,
I guess, obviously getting off to a good start helped. I knew he'd probably relax into the match and come back at me, which he did do. But then, I suppose it didn't work out that way. But getting close to the finish and having that experience and that confidence, hoping that maybe nerves may get him. But I got to 2015 and thought, okay, I'm on the edge here. But he played 2 extremely good ends to get to 2019, and then he played another fantastic end on the last one. So it was just, a really good last ball that sort of got me over the line in the end.
Well, we'll get to that in a sec, but at 2015, as you mentioned, he piled on 4 shots and got really close to make the gap just 1. What was your process at that moment, and what were you telling yourself just to sort of keep calm?
Yeah, well, I guess it was sort of, I guess I played a big shot to make 3 or to get to the third one in there to get to 20. And I suppose there was a bit of adrenaline pumping getting to that 20 mark. And those 2 ends, he sort of capitalised probably on that adrenaline and me getting to 20. And it was just about me sort of trying to reset, get back in my groove and get that final shot. So, like I said, he sort of capitalised on that adrenaline, and and really put me under the pump, and it made it difficult for me to settle. So all credit to him, but so fortunately I had one left in me.
You certainly did. That final end saw Cohen holding game, I think, with 4 shots around the jack. What did you tell yourself as you lined up on that mat for the decisive bowl?
Yeah, well, I guess for me over the years, it's just been all about repetition and having a really good pre-shot routine. So when you get into situations like that, it's just another bowl. So I mean, I couldn't exactly tell you what was going through my head. It was sort of just one of those blank space moments, and it was just sort of sticking to the process. Trying to stick to the same pre-shot routine, not slowing down too much, just sticking to what I do and just treating it as another bowl, just trying to draw the shot again. So I guess that's where the experience in those finals and those big moments over the years, me playing for 28 years now, everything sort of in the past has led up to that situation. So just put it down to the experience and backing myself and having that confidence in my process.
And usually when you get the trot going, Omar, you know that it's a good bowl, but when did you know that it was going to be the one that ended up winning you the title?
Yeah, well, out of the hand, it felt good. I thought I was reasonably close. If not, I thought at least, hopefully, second shot. But I suppose probably when I stopped and sort of got down and was watching it come into the head about 4 or 5 foot out, I realised that I had pretty good pace on it and it was coming in nicely. So then it was just about really, just enjoying that moment and watching it come in onto the jack and I suppose the emotions that come out of me that I probably keep intact more often than not.
Well, that was going to be my next question. It was probably the most animated we've seen you after an AO win. What went through your mind straight after? Obviously, there would have been a little bit of relief there because it was so close. But, the fact that you'd won 6, did that come through your mind at all?
Yeah, I guess probably it had been a pretty tough AO for me personally, just with being out of form at the start of it. I was really battling with my technique and just really battling with weight control. So I suppose to be able to tinker with that throughout the event, I had my sister and her family up to come and watch for the first time, and the kids were there, Amanda was there, and probably just all the enormity of it all. And I saw how much Bryson DeChambeau was so excited about winning that US Open, and I thought to myself, like, here's a guy that's got plenty of cash, won everything, and look at him and the emotion coming out in him. And I suppose, we don't get to have those moments too often. So it was just, I suppose I wanted to express myself and just show everyone how much it really did mean to me.
It's great. And I guess you see when, tennis players have an opportunity 4 times a year to win their major titles, and, this festival of bowls is only once a year. So the fact that you've done it 6 times is quite an unbelievable achievement. And how proud are you of yourself? You mentioned that you were struggling with your weight control and your form a little bit at the start of the tournament, but now it's been 1,098 days since you've lost a singles match at the AO. You must be so proud, and it must blow your mind a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you win the AO and you just end up another number at the start of the next season. You're back at the start of the pack and, working your way through it. So I suppose knowing that I was out of form and for me it was just all about really just taking one game at a time, like the old cliche sort of thing, but just trying to work and get myself back into some reasonable form, which I was able to do towards the back of the event. But yeah, 1,098 days. Well, it's it's a pretty cool number. I hadn't really thought about it like that, but just obviously winning. You got to win 12 games in a row or something like that to get through the event against the best players in Australia, and obviously the world contingent now coming out, which is fantastic. So 3 in a row, 6 in total. It's probably something that I'll be extra proud of once I sort of slow down and realise the enormity of what's been going on.
Very fair enough. And final one from me, Omar. You mentioned your sister coming up to watch, and you had Amanda, your wife, and your kids there. How special is it, the fact that it's in your home city where you live, and also to have your family there in the stands watching you go about your business and achieving greatness like you have done?
Yeah, it means everything to me. I touched on it in my interview after, the sacrifices that, mum, dad and the brother and sister and now Amanda and the kids have made over the years to, the events I've missed, the birthdays, the weddings, everything else that I've missed out on over the years to pursue my career, to be able to perform on the biggest stage in Australia and get those titles and have them here and win them and experience it and celebrate it with them, it means everything to me. So, I'm a huge family man. And I guess me being successful and winning these titles is just thanking them for everything they've done for me over the last 28 years to get me to this point.
Amazing. Well, Aron Sherriff, 6-time Australian Open men's singles winner. You thoroughly deserve it, mate. You've had an unbelievable tournament, and to sit there and watch you do your thing is one of the great pleasures in my career as a media person, and it is truly amazing to watch you go about your work. So thank you very much for joining me here on Without Bias, and we'll see you very soon.
Thanks, Val. And just quickly, I'd like to thank for everyone that's reached out via messenger or messages or text and everything. So I really appreciate all the support, and thank you so much for making it that little bit more special. So cheers, Val.
Aron Sherriff there joining me on Without Bias to talk about his wonderful Australian Open men's singles win. He's won 6 of them, an unfathomable total, considering in the last 3 there's been over 1,250 competitors. This year there was well over 1,300. It's an amazing achievement that I'm sure he'll look back on in the future with great pride. But up next, Jack McShane, 19-year-old superstar. He's going to join me on the show to chat about his men's pairs win and, of course, that final bowl.
The right care, right at home. Australia's premier in-home care provider. Local legends wanted. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls clubs near me.
From the wide outdoors to the great indoors, this is Without Bias.
You're listening to Without Bias right here on 1116 SEN, your home of sport. Of course, a bowling green is right around the corner. Search Bowls Greens near me. Now, we chatted to Aron Sherriff in the last segment, who's been there and done that so many times before, but a man that is starting to forge a very nice career for himself. He's 19-year-old Jack McShane, and if you want to watch a clutch bowl, go and watch his final bowl of the men's pairs final against Nathan Rice and Flynn O'Shaughnessy. It was something to behold. Final bowl of the extra end, and he absolutely nails it to win the title for himself and his partner, Joey Clark. Jack, you join me on the show now. Congratulations on the win. How are you going?
I'm good. Yourself, Val?
Yeah, going really well, really well. Now, an unbelievable achievement winning the men's pairs with Joey Clark. Has it all sunk in yet?
Honestly, not at all. It's so surreal because, I've always watched the AO and BPL and all that since I was young. So to be able to play in it, and then, win it is it's next level, and it's so unreal.
You were channeling your inner Alan Fife to win it with the final bowl of an extra end in a pairs match, but how special was that reaction? You got the double fist going. I remember you saying afterwards that it was a bit of a blur, but how special was that moment for you?
Oh, it was. I don't think it was quite to the level of Ellen's, but it was pretty special, and it was all a complete blur to me. And then, I remember talking to you afterwards and saying, I don't remember doing the double fist bump, honestly. So I'm just glad it sort of came out at the right time.
The one thing you did say when you walked into the room, you had us all in fits. You walk in and go, oh, never in doubt. But when did you know that you'd nailed that final bowl?
I let it go, and I was like, it was a touch wider out of the hand. Like, I knew it straight away. But then it was funny, like, I knew I had the tee if the bowl and the jack went, but with everything going on, I just had to, make sure. for a second, so you can probably see on my face in the broadcast just the uncertainty for about 1 or 2 seconds. And I saw my bowl was still there, and so it was happy days and started sprinting at Joey.
And the match itself was a nail-biter with you and Joey finally grabbing the lead late and holding on to it until the final end when Nathan Rice played 3 absolute bombs. How were the two of you before the extra end after Lurch had sort of wrestled back the momentum and sent it that one further?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, pretty calm because, I mean, Lurch had been doing it the whole time. He was unreal that game. So it was just sort of a few words of motivation between us and just back ourselves because that's what we did to get to that point. So why change what's working?
And what's the key to having such amazing maturity? Because you guys are putting the rest of us to absolute shame.
Oh, well, I'd have to say it's just the people I've grown up around. Like, my parents have been so amazing in my career. And, like, the bowls mentors I've had as well, such as Bill Sutcliffe when I was quite young. And then at Maryland, I hate to give him a shout-out, but I'll have to give it to Sean Thompson. He's been amazing for my career. And so, yeah, all those people combined have just really helped me along the way.
Amazing. And you and Joey have such an amazing relationship. The two of you actually played the boys' singles final against each other 2 years ago. Now you've won an open title together. Did you pinch yourself when you received the medal?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the presentation afterwards, I said, "This is pretty cool." So I think I would have liked to have said something a bit more, like a bit more advanced than that. But it was a pinch myself moment because, I mean, it's true. It is pretty cool what happened. And yeah, to do it with Joey was just, after playing the juniors, it's just crazy, really.
Well, how has that relationship blossomed over your junior careers? Obviously, you're both in the Pathways Jackaroos squad now. And how much does the relationship with Joey mean to you? The fact that you're both in the same state, you're sort of coming through the ranks together, similar age.
Well, it's amazing because, I mean, really, like, with where we want to go on bowls, we're going to be spending a lot more time with each other. And so to become really good mates, at this age and then start winning stuff together, it sets up hopefully a good 10, 15 years that we're going to have with each other, which I'm really looking forward to.
And you also played the men's fours final also with Joey, so you two had an amazing tournament, just going down to Carl Healy and his side. But how much confidence have you got from this fortnight going forward? You mentioned just before we came on air that you've got another bowls event coming up over this week, and it just never stops for you. But
yeah.
Do you now stride to the rink and say, you know what, I've got a lot of confidence now. I've just won an AO title.
Oh, exactly. Like, I mean, you're playing on the best surfaces up there at the AO, so there's no excuses with it. And then, so to be able to match it with the best gives me and Joseph, obviously, just great confidence heading into everything else that if we back ourselves, I mean, we can take it to anyone, which is so good leading into big events such as the National Development Series in a few weeks and then tournaments coming up as well.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you about the development series coming up. That's another opportunity to pit yourself against players that are in your age bracket and are in your squads, the Pathways and the Emerging. How excited are you to get up back to Tweed Heads for that event? Because last year it seemed like it went off really well, and this year sort of very similar squads and similar conditions.
Oh, I can't wait. I wasn't involved in it last year. I don't think Joey was either, but I've only heard good things about it. Everyone who played in it last year said it was so good, every aspect of it. So, yeah, I can't wait. And it's good playing against your fellow squad mates to get to know them as well because, again, you'll be playing a lot with them in future years.
And one final one, when's Maryland's unveiling the statue?
Oh, spare me. I think there's more chance of them unveiling a Michael Clark statue before me, but we shall see.
Very nice. Well played, mate. Straight bat. I like it. Jack, thank you very much for joining me on the show. It's been a pleasure to watch your development. over the last couple of years, and fingers crossed we're going to be seeing a lot more of you on the national stage and international stage in the future, because the way you go about your business is unbelievable. You show maturity well beyond your 19 years, and thank you for providing us with one of the great all-time moments of the Australian Open. So thank you, and congratulations again.
Thanks, Val. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Jack McShane joining me on Without Bias, an amazing performer he is on the big stage. His maiden Australian Championships trophy came in 2022 in the men's pairs, and now his maiden Australian Open trophy comes in the men's pairs as well, with a bowl that will go down into the annals of Australian Open folklore. It was amazing, it was gripping, and it was clutch, and he thoroughly deserves the title. An amazing tournament from him and Joey Clark, the two 19-year-olds with the world at their feet. A big thank you to Jack and Aron Sherriff for joining me on the show tonight. Of course, if you do want to keep up to date with everything that's happening in the sport of bowls, you can follow Bowls Australia's social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Of course, you can subscribe to The Right Line, Bowls Australia's official podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from, on Google, Apple, Spotify as well. So subscribe to that and make sure you head to bowls.com.au. But that's about all we've got time for on Without Bias this evening. A big thank you from myself, Val Febbo, for your company, for you tuning in. And of course, a bowling green is right around the corner. Search bowls clubs near me. Have a great week, everyone.